welcome to Stretford Paddock. I'm Casey and I'm going to be taking you through today's news. It's been a bit of a rough one, hasn't it? There's been a lot of news coming out, been a lot of maybes, been a lot of deals that have seemed to be happening and then seem to have disappeared. But what we've got for today is a couple of rumours and a couple of bit more information on a couple of deals that have been touted over the last couple of days. So we're going to start with the DiMarzio news. DiMarzio came out and said yesterday that that Manchester United were interested in signing Fernando Llorente on a free. Now, that's an interesting signing to hear about, isn't it? Fernando Llorente, a player that's probably been ridiculed consistently by top six fans about because of his lack of movement. He's partly slow. But Simon Peach has come out this morning and said, basically, it's just a load of rubbish. No one in United knows where this rumour's come from. No one seems to know why it's been touted. But he said that he's not sure how Lukaku and Dybala, the Dybala swap deal that's collapsed, will affect the Mandzukic transfer. Now, this is where I think the Llorente rumour has come from. I think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants a pressing target man, and I feel like Llorente kind of fits that profile, like a bit, and that's where the rumours come from, because we wanted a low-cost option as a plan B in Mandzukic, and because that deal's sort of gone downhill, we've been linked with Llorente. So I kind of understand the tactical reasons behind it. I mean, people have been saying they don't want Mandzukic to come in because he'll start hindering youth development, but I feel like there's no one in the youth who can do what Mandzukic does. There's no one who's got that tall, imposing presence up front. And also, he's one of the best pressing attackers in world football, I'd say. Even at 32, 33, he still shows a willingness to defend from the front. And I feel like having a striker there who can do it at the moment and then also teach that to the other strikers is a very good asset for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to have, and especially at 10 to 15 million. So obviously Simon Peach has said he's not sure where that deal is. It might become separate. It might be that deal goes through, but it's not really anything solid at the moment. So we're going to move on to Lukaku. Just before we do that, if you want to get any comments put anything in the comments, we'll go through them at the end. We'll have a talk through and we'll have a discussion. But move on to Lukaku, the big imposing striker that we have at the moment, but doesn't seem to want to be here. Now, it said on Sky yesterday that Lukaku and United had an agreement that Lukaku would stay in Belgium until his future was sorted. Now, this doesn't seem to be the case. Apparently, according to Adam Crafton from the newly formed Athletic, there's an MUFC email for Lukaku to request for his return, and there's fines. That means that fines are incoming. He's not spoken to Solskjaer since Friday, and he's apparently fallen out with Pogba. As you remember, Pogba being one of Lukaku's best mates, and that video of you coming to United sort of thing when he first was rumoured to be coming to England. To United. He's in England anyway. And apparently he's gone absent without leave, AWOL, in protest to the fact that United won't lower the transfer demands. I think Lukaku's burnt his bridges, really. I don't see the way back for Lukaku at this point. I feel like he's made it a situation where he's fallen out with the rest of the squad. He's fallen out with the manager. He's fallen out with the board. He's basically making his position untenable. And if he doesn't get the transfer, I don't see what will happen. I don't see United selling for lower than what they've asked for, because it will be a sign of weakness. You can't go through for six weeks saying we're not taking any lower than that and reject countless bids just to be at the end to be like, yeah, we're going to have to. So I feel like it's a deal that if Inter meet the asking price, or maybe just under the asking price, they might go to sell him. But at this moment in time, Lukaku's going to get fined. He's definitely going to get fined. You don't go to, apparently only was allowed 1 day of training at Anderlecht. He's now been there for multiple days. You can't get away with that in a football club. Like, I can understand why they would have done it, because I don't think they wanted him to be part of the training. You don't want a striker there and building like tactics and team chemistry around a striker who isn't going to be there, because as soon as he's removed, you basically back to square one. So I think Lukaku will be sold, but at the right price. So finally, we're going to move on to the rumour that's been on everyone's lips for the last couple of days. Christian Eriksen from Tottenham, a player that I'd love to see in a United shirt. I wanted United to sign him when he went to Tottenham for $9 million many years ago now. A player that's registered multiple double figures in assists in multiple seasons. It was wildly reported yesterday that Manchester United were obviously interested in signing Christian Eriksen. They'd made contact with Tottenham, and it was around a fee of about 55 to 60 million that would have got the Dane out of White Hart Lane. There's a rhyme for you. But it's been reported today that Simon Stone's come out on Twitter and said that United have put a halt on the transfer. It's not happening. He wants to move to Real Madrid. He wants a change in lifestyle. So he will not be joining United, because I feel like it's another one of those in the Dybala deal where it was a case of they want players who are committed to the project that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is building. They want players who are going to be at the team for the long term without, not based on their wages and because they're getting paid higher wages, but because they want to be at United. Simon Peach is also, picked up on it. James Cooper said the other day, United correspondent on Sky, that further signings were unlikely, which is what Sam Stone has said as well. It's because they're looking at other targets, but the chances of getting a deal done in such a short space of time is not high, which makes sense. We took 5 weeks each, or around that amount of time, to sign Wan-Bissaka and Maguire. 2 days to sign a player, unless those have been behind the scenes for the last couple of weeks, I don't think it's going to happen. But it could still happen. They say it's unlikely, and it sounds a bit like a brief. James Ducker, who broke the news, also said about that if the right player comes on the market and who has the right mentality, United will make a move. So obviously, with 2 days to go, it's going to be interesting to see if anything does materialise. But it's a very short space of time to get a deal done. So we're going to move on to your comments now. We're going to see what you wanted to say. So Ollie knows he needs to replace Herrera and bring in another midfielder, but they have left it too late. I don't think it's... I think Solskjaer obviously will be disappointed if we don't sign anyone else. I feel like he knows what he wanted at the start of this window, and it's not his job to get those signings in. He says, I need these positions. The scouting department have given me these profiles of players, and these are the ones that I want you to look at. And sort of thing, and if you don't get him, you go for him. And it's a sort of the sense of it's then up to Ed Woodward to make the deals. And he's done well with getting good prices, a good price for Wan-Bissaka. I mean, he probably should have done more, and that's definitely true. We should have done more. But with the deals he's done, he's got good prices. Wan-Bissaka for 45 million plus 5 million add-ons is a good deal for the player. Harry Maguire for 80 million when they wanted 100 is relatively... it's relatively better than paying 100 million for Maguire is 80, but it's still a bit over the odds. But it's the player that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted. Let's have a look. Savic for 85 million, Bruno Fernandes for 60 million, Longstaff for 40, Lamina for 20. Sign anyone, man. Replace Matic and Mata, our weakest links, Mal. Yeah, I think those are two positions that are going to show United's are going to be problematic for United. We've started our defence, but a defensive midfielder is always helpful in improving it. You see that when Chelsea and Leicester had Kante, they didn't have they have better defences. Like Chelsea has a better defence than Leicester, but he made those defences functional. He helped by relieving pressure, and that's the sort of player you need in CDM. You need someone who relieves pressure, who makes tackles, who makes it easier for the defenders to do their jobs. But I feel like the problem is that we're probably going to concede less goals now. We've got two more quality defenders in places where the players were aging out or weren't up to standard. So I feel like we're going to concede less goals. The problem is that are we just increasing the number of 0-0s we get on the road to not qualifying for Champions League again? That's the problem. I feel like we need another creative midfielder. I feel like creative midfielder is where we're looking at. And obviously, we've seen Dybala linked. We've seen Eriksen linked with sort of more of an official standard. We've seen Fernandes linked through Portuguese papers, but that's nothing official on that. So it's interesting to see what that happens. Can we make a late move for Ruben Nevers? Now, I think Ruben Nevers is a quality defensive midfielder, but I feel like Wolves aren't going to sell him, especially with 2 days to replace him. Probably their best player and their young talent, they'll be wanting him to be the focal point of what they're trying to do, which is move into higher up the table and break into that top 6, because that's what a lot of those teams are going to be trying to do now. The Evertons, your Wolves, your West Hams, to an extent, and your Leicesters will all want to take advantage of the fact that United haven't strengthened, Chelsea have a transfer ban, Arsenal had a £45 million budget, but they're doing a lot of work with that at the moment, so they might not be included in that if they get a centre back and a left back. Be interesting to see, but be interesting. So one more comment, and then I think that'll be it for today. I sense a panic buy coming. And then Ronaldo Messi say hashtag no more signings. I feel like whatever buy we do, I feel like we'll be looking at them for a while. I don't think it might be that we have to pay over the odds because it'll be later in the day, but I feel like whoever comes in is going to be well scouted. Probably there'll be a couple of weeks of like groundwork behind it, but if we do get someone in, I don't feel like if he's the right sort of profile, it's going to be seen as a panic buy. We need the players. Like, panic buy is a very interesting comment because you're saying, oh yeah, you're buying late, but there still is a shortlist. It'll probably still be someone from a shortlist of players who they want. It won't be just someone who's just on the market. So anyway, that's all for today. If you want to find out more transfer news, we'll be covering right up to the deadline. We'll bringing you news as soon as we can do it. Season starts on Sunday. In the comments, let us know what you think is going to happen. Where do you think we're going to finish? What do you think the result against Chelsea is going to be? Obviously, subscribe to the channel. We've just hit 18k. Thank you all who watch our videos, and thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you next time.